Good morning. My name is Daniel Sweetser, and I'm reading through my novel Hope Starts Small that I just finished up. And this morning I'm going to read Chapter 2, Section 4, or Part 4, Getting Ready. As soon as Frank and Constance realized they would need to sell first before they could find a new place, they knew they couldn't just get rid of things they didn't need. They had to be a step further. They would need to hibernate their life, removing things they wanted to keep and make the house presentable. Frank found a local storage facility that had a 10-foot by 30-foot unit, and he got to work. The basement was already filled with things that had survived Frank's previous sorting and purging process, and so there was much he was able to move right away. He discovered that their car, packed to the brim, could carry upwards of 30 boxes and miscellaneous knickknacks if he did things right. He took at least one trip every day with a full car to the storage unit. He started with bins and boxes and made a wall with them at the back of the unit. He continued to build this upwards and outwards. Then at the very top he would toss lighter things that could fill the space to the ceiling. He bought many boxes and tape, over and over again. The packing decisions he made weren't always reasonable. Many boxes were labeled miscellaneous stuff to be unpacked later, like a time capsule with mysterious contents. It was hard work, and Frank was tired, but he didn't often ask for help. One reason for this was that he would do this work at odd hours, like right after the kids' bedtime. And often things weren't clearly ready to pack, and he had to make decisions. Frank liked not needing help, too, something that Constance would often call him out on when she saw that he needed help but wouldn't take it. But in this case, the slow, deliberate, and off-hours nature of the job meant that it seemed reasonable to Frank to just do it alone. He took pictures of the storage unit as he went, showing the progression from empty to full, and he took satisfaction in this like a hunting trophy. But all the while, Frank knew that everything he put in the unit he would have to take back out. The futility of this was unmistakable, and it made Frank not care very much how accessible he made the contents of the unit. He was packing with a goal of maximum utilization. It also meant that he packed things he might have previously given away. Right now, all that mattered was getting things out of the house, and if the family didn't use it all the time, it went. There was no time for deliberation. The house became emptier and emptier. In the process, some things were given away. Large furniture that Frank and Constance didn't want to move, attic discoveries from a prior owner. And at the same time, while Frank was moving their life into storage, he was cleaning and fixing the house. He was also caring for his 100 or so blueberry sprouts, sitting in plastic trays in front of the fireplace. On the advice of their realtor, Constance had made a cute sign that said, "Blueberry Farm in Progress." Shh, we're sleeping. Frank painted over unsightly spots on walls and cleaned floors. At one point, he tried to clean a wall, and he discovered that the layers of tobacco stains from a previous owner meant that the clean spots on the wall looked more dirty than the dirty spots did. So he stopped. He painted the part of the front door where one of their two dogs, Andy, would scratch when she wanted to go out. He was painting over history, covering up memories, but the reality was that Frank and Constance had not put many holes in the walls of this house. They used adhesive strips to put up pictures instead of nails. So while Frank was covering up some memories, he was mostly covering up wear and tear. Faded paint, unsightly spots, worn walls. The house was tired. Frank knew this, and like an uncredentialed plastic surgeon, he did his best to give it a facelift. The realtor came a few times and walked through. He pointed out issues and asked that they be fixed. Frank did his best to resolve them quickly, and soon enough they were ready to list the house. The plan was for them to list, have a weekend open house, and then show for the remainder of the following week. Frank had made reservations at a hotel for the family, and they planned to leave for the duration rather than dealing with the perpetual sudden need to evacuate. Photos were taken, the listing went live, and Frank packed up the family for their brief time away. All right, thanks for listening. Have an awesome day.